The United States is known as the country of immigrants since it has been the preferred destination for foreigners since the 1970s. According to the latest update from the International Organization for Migration, the number of foreigners in the country exceeds 50 million inhabitants, representing 15.62% of the total population. Most of them reside in the states of California, Texas, New York, and New Jersey. On the other hand, the UN reported that the United States has nearly 3 million immigrants, which is equivalent to 0.9% of its population. At the federal level, the United States does not have an official language, but some of its states have adopted English as the official language. However, in practice, English is the most commonly used language in the street and is employed in drafting the Constitution and laws. According to the latest survey conducted by the Census Bureau of the American Community, over 78% of its population speaks English in their homes, while just over 13% speak Spanish. The remaining percentage is divided among other less common languages. The official currency in the United States is the US dollar, which is the world's most important international reserve currency and the most widely used in international transactions. The United States offers extensive opportunities for immigrants and is known for being a popular destination, but like any country, it has its advantages and disadvantages. Therefore, in this extraordinary walk, we will explore in detail the advantages and disadvantages of immigrating to the United States. Let's start as usual with the advantages. The United States is at the top of the list of the world's most prosperous countries. According to the International Monetary Fund, in the second quarter of 2023, its gross domestic product reached the astonishing figure of $6,162,155 million, far surpassing the world's second-largest economy, China. Furthermore, to the surprise of many, in the first quarter of 2023, its economy had already grown by 0.5%, experiencing another increase of 0.6% in the second quarter. The strength of its economy makes the United States a secure place for financial growth, as the US dollar tends to be very stable, and the chances of falling into an economic crisis that affects your savings or businesses are almost negligible. Money isn't everything. When making the important decision of where to immigrate, it's also crucial to consider the happiness of its residents. This can be a complex process, but the United Nations has created the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, which annually compiles the World Happiness Report, measuring aspects such as decision-making ability, security, and gross domestic product. According to this index, the United States ranks 15th as the happiest country in the world. While this might not sound very impressive considering there are more than 190 countries in the world and the United States has to deal with a huge population, it's actually a very respectable position. Interestingly, being the preferred destination for immigrants is one of the things that precisely facilitates immigration to this country. If you speak Spanish, I have good news for you, as around 30% of the population in Texas and California speaks this language, which makes adaptation easier if you don't have a solid command of English. These states allow for partial immersion in English without the need to carry a translator with you everywhere just to find the bathrooms. Additionally, several institutions, such as the government and the FBI, have bilingualism, English-Spanish, as a norm on their websites. We could talk for a long time about the reasons why the United States has positioned itself as a prosperous country, but there's one that interests us more than any other: it has had incredible entrepreneurs. In 2020, U.S. News released a ranking of the best countries to live in, where the United States ranked 7th. What's interesting is that, among the various variables, one of them evaluated how good of an idea it was to start a business in the country. In this specific category, the United States ranked 3rd. The country is known for its risk-taking businesses and determined entrepreneurs, which has led to support for those looking to follow in these footsteps. Furthermore, the wide range of job opportunities and the stable economy make failure not a fatal blow. You can try, lose money, recover, and try again. We can also mention in this regard the list of the best countries to start a business according to Doing Business, where the United States ranked 6th. According to their data, this is due to the ease of obtaining credit and the relative simplicity of resolving debt payments in case of failure. Due to the large number of entrepreneurs and businesses emerging every day, the unemployment rate in the United States is very low. Despite being in a small recession and the U.S. Federal Reserve having to drastically raise interest rates to control inflation, which reached 9.1%, jobs continue to increase, impressing economists worldwide. In January 2023, 517,000 new jobs were created, and the unemployment rate dropped to 3.4%, representing the lowest level in the past 50 years, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Having a job is not the only positive aspect, as it pays well too. The federal minimum wage in the country is $7.25 per hour, or $2.13 for tipped employees. However, the combination of tips and base pay must reach at least $7.25 per hour. While this figure is the minimum wage nationwide, each state has its own laws, and many have increased this amount. For example, in Washington, D.C., the minimum wage is the highest at $17 per hour or $8 for tipped workers. Washington follows with $15.74, and in third place is California, with a minimum wage of $15.50 for businesses with more than 26 employees. Moreover, it's possible for this minimum wage to increase over time, as Senator Bernie Sanders seeks to implement a law that, if approved, would gradually raise the minimum wage to $17 per hour. All these aspects truly paint the United States as a great destination for migration, but is it really as idyllic as it seems? Are there only advantages in the American dream? Stay with us so you can judge for yourself. Answering the question of how much it costs to study in the United States can be complicated, as tuition fees vary depending on the university and the major. Fortunately, the College Board, an organization responsible for conducting tests and helping students prepare for admission, makes this task easier by providing calculations. On average, studying at a public in-state university costs around $10,740 in tuition. If the university is out of state, the average rises to $27,560. Finally, in the case of a private nonprofit university, tuition can go up to $38,070. This turns out to be an almost unthinkable figure for a newly arrived immigrant, especially when considering that these costs must be added to expenses related to housing, food, utilities, and others, which are not included in the numbers mentioned above. According to Market Insight, the average cost of renting homes in the United States in October 2022 was $1,861 per month. Although by the end of that year, this figure experienced a slight decrease, dropping below $1,800 per month, these are still significant figures that must be taken into account. In August 2023, WalletHub published a report ranking the ideal states to live in, taking into account factors like the economy and quality of life. However, according to the Zumper website, the rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the city of Boston reaches $2,875 per month, which can make things challenging for a foreigner. While in many countries healthcare is affordable or even free, in the United States, this is not the norm. According to a study conducted by the Kaiser Family Foundation in 2021, the average annual cost of individual health insurance was $7,739. If you consider a family plan for 4 people, this figure increases significantly, reaching $22,221. It's important to note that these are averages, and factors like dietary habits, overall health, and employment situation can influence these costs. Additionally, there is variation among states. For example, for an average 27-year-old, the monthly premium could range from $273 in New Hampshire, the state with the most affordable insurance, to $684 in Wyoming, the state with the most expensive insurance, with figures like $388 in Southern California and $374 in Florida. Unfortunately, in the 21st century, racism remains a contentious issue. According to the 2021 Best Countries report, the United States is among the top 10 countries with the greatest racial inequality. Furthermore, according to the Anti-Defamation League's 2018 report, the United States has experienced a 182% increase in the racial discrimination index compared to previous years, making it a less ideal place if you are a person of color. According to the 2022 Global Peace Index, the United States ranks 129th, indicating not only that it is an unsafe place but has worsened its position compared to the previous year. According to the latest FBI statistics, an estimated 1,313,200 violent crimes occurred in just 1 year, with 22,900 homicides, representing a 4.3% increase compared to the previous year. Unfortunately, the high minimum wage in D.C. is overshadowed by its high crime rate, with nearly 1,000 crimes per 100,000 inhabitants, well above the national average of 398.5. In contrast, Maine is the safest state, with a rate of 108.6 crimes per 100,000 inhabitants. As you have observed, the United States is a country of extremes. On one hand, it can be very welcoming and offer opportunities, but on the other hand, it can be very challenging due to its social and security issues. After all this information, what is your opinion of the United States as a possible destination to immigrate to? Are you ready to pack your bags? And so we come to the end of our extraordinary walk. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Until the next adventure.